Hello everyone. So today I'll be starting with class 6th Polity NCERT. So this is our chapter 1, Understanding Diversity. Look around you in the classroom. Do you see anyone? Okay. So let me tell you about the agenda of this class. First I'll read out the page and then I'll explain you. Okay, so like this we'll move on. So look around you in the classroom. Do you see anyone who looks exactly like you do? In this chapter, you will learn that people are different from each other in many ways. Not only do they look different, but they might also belong to different regional, cultural, or religious backgrounds. These differences enrich our lives in many ways and also make them more fun. All these different people who come from all kinds of backgrounds and belong to all kinds of religions and cultures help to make India so interesting and so diverse. What does diversity add to our lives? How did India become like this? Are all kinds of difference a part of diversity? Can diversity also be a part of unity? Read this chapter to find some answers. So here basically some stories has been given. We can skip this portion. Okay. Now the chances are that here three drawings have been given and there is a comparison given, or what we can draw a summary out of these three pictures by analyzing them is that these three pictures are different. Okay, the chances are that your drawing is quite different from the other three, which you can see are quite different from each other. This is because each one of us has a unique drawing style. We not only don't look exactly like each other but also differ in terms of language we speak, our cultural background, the religious rituals we observe, and of course the way we draw. They all differ. We can skip this box. Okay, we can skip this portion also. Then by now you must have recognized the many ways in which you are quite like some of your classmates and other ways in which you are different from them. Now we'll read about the story Making Friends. Do you think it would be easy for you to make friends with someone who is very different from you? Read the following story and think about this. Okay, now we'll begin with a small story. Just listen with full focus. Then I'll explain you. I had meant it as a joke made up for a small rag boy who sold newspapers at the Janpat crossing at the busy intersection. Every time I cycled past, he would run after me holding out the English paper. Then and screaming out the evening headlines in a mixture of Hindi and English words. This time I stopped by the pavement and asked for Hindi. His mouth fell open. He was astonished. Why? Because he asked, "You mean you know Hindi?" He asked. Of course, I said, as I paid for the paper. Why? What did you think? He paused. But you look so Angrez, he said. You mean you can even read Hindi? He said, of course I can. I said, this time a little impatiently. I can speak, read and write Hindi. You can see these two friends interacting at the junction. Okay? And write Hindi. Hindi is one of the subjects I study in school. Subjects. He asked, how could I explain what a subject was to someone who had never been to school? Well, it is something I began, but the lights changed, and the honking behind me grew 100-fold. I let myself be pushed along with the rest of the traffic. So from these two pages, what we got to know was this chapter explores the importance of diversity in our lives, highlighting how it enriches our experiences. You can even fast forward these portion. Experiences and contributes to the richness. Yes, richness also. Richness of India. It also explores the role of diversity in unity, the unique drawing styles of kids. The text encourages students to identify similarities and differences in their social and political life. It suggests that making friends with someone who is very different from you, who is very different from your own background, can be challenging. The story of a boy selling newspapers in Hindi demonstrates the difficulty of explaining subjects to someone who has never been to school. Okay? So now let's move on to our next page. The next day he was there again, smiling at me, holding out a Hindi paper. भैया, he said, आपका अखबार अब बताइए ये सब्जेक्ट क्या चीज़ है. The English word sounded strange on his tongue. It sounded like its other meaning in English, to be ruled by someone else. Oh, it's just something to study, I said. And because the red light had come on, I asked him, "Have you ever been to school?" He said, "Never." And he added proudly, "I began walking when I was so high." He measured himself against my cycle seat. Means the speaker's cycle seat. "First, my mother used to come with me, but I can do it all alone." Then Samir asked, "Where is your mother now?" I asked, but then the lights changed and I was off. I heard yell from somewhere behind me, "She's in Meerut with." The rest was drowned out. "My name is Samir," he said the next day, and very shyly he asked, "What's yours?" It was incredible. My bicycle wobbled. "My name is Samir too," I said. He said, "What?" His eyes lit up. "Yes," I grinned at him. "It's another name for Hanuman's father, you know. So now you are Samir Ek and I'm Samir Do," he said triumphantly. "Something like that," I answered, and then I hold out my hand. "Haath milao, Samir Do." His hand nestled in mine like a little bird. I could still feel its warmth as I cycled away. So next what happened? The next day he did not have his usual smile for me. "There is a trouble in Meerut," he said. "Many people are being killed there in the riots." I looked at the headlines, "Communal riots." It blazed. "But Samir," I began. "I'm a Muslim, Samir," he said in answer, "and all my people are in Meerut." His eyes filled with tears, and when I touched his shoulder, he wouldn't look up. He was at the crossing. He was not at the crossing the day after, neither the day after, nor ever again, and no newspaper in English or Hindi. Can you tell me where my Samir Do has gone? So this is a story by, here given source of this one is given also. Lights Changed by Poili Sengupta. So students, write down in the comment section, can you name 3 ways in which Samir Ek and Samir Do were different? And did these differences prevent them from becoming friends? No. Second question's answer is not at all. But you have to answer the first question's answer. Okay? So when Samir Ek is more familiar with English, Samir Do speaks Hindi. Although they both are more at home in different languages, they still communicated with each other. They made the effort to do so because this was what was important to them. Samir Ek and Samir Do also come from different religious and cultural backgrounds. Yes. They come from different religious and cultural background. While Samir Ek is a Hindu, Samir Do is a Muslim. Different religious and cultural backgrounds such as these are an aspect of diversity. Okay? So what did we learn from this page is that the text describes a conversation between two individuals, Samir Ek and Samir Do, who share a common language and different religious background. Despite their differences, they communicate and maintain a strong connection. The text highlights importance of understanding diversity and impact of different cultural backgrounds on individuals' lives, as seen in the case of Samir Ek, who's a Hindu, and Samir Do, who's a Muslim. So here basically we got the overview of what diversity is all about, right? So let's move on to the next page. We can skip this portion, not needed. In addition to the diverse religious and cultural background, there are ways in which Samir Ek and Samir Do are different from each other. For example, while Samir Ek goes to school, Samir Do sells newspaper. We can discuss this also. We can skip this, okay? I think this is a bit important. Just look at this fact over here. What do you think? Samir Do did not attend school? Yes, he did not attend school. Do you think it would have been easy for him to attend school if he wanted to? No, because for attending school we need educational awareness and economical assistance. Both of them is needed. So in your opinion, is it fair? Is it a fair situation that some children get to school and others don't? No, not at all. It is not at all a fair situation. Samir Do did not have the opportunity to attend school. Okay, perhaps you've noticed that there are several people in the area where you live who are poor and who don't have enough to eat and wear, and sometimes not even a place to live. The difference is not the same as the one we have seen earlier. Here we are talking not of difference but of inequality. Inequality comes Okay, we are talking about inequality right now. Inequality comes about when a person does not have the resources and opportunities. Person does not have the resources and opportunities that are available to other person. The caste system. Wait. Yes. Caste system is another example of inequality. According to this, society was divided into different groups depending upon the work that people did, and they were supposed to remain in those groups. So if your parents were potters, you could only become a potter, nothing else. This system was considered irreversible. Okay, the caste system that existed in our India, which is also prevalent today also, and because you were not supposed to change your profession, it was not considered necessary for you to know anything more than what you needed in your profession. This created a situation of inequality. You will read more about this and other inequalities in the following chapters. So what did diversity add to our lives? Just like Samir Ek and Samir Do became friends, you might have friends who are very different from you. You have probably eaten different kinds of food in their homes, celebrated different festivals with them, tried out the clothes they wear, and learned some of the languages as well. So if you want, you can even make a list of the food that you've eaten from different parts of India. Make a list of the languages also, besides your mother tongue, that you can speak at least one or two words of. So what was the generalization of this chapter? That both of them are different due to their diverse religious and cultural background as well as their different occupations. Samir though didn't attend school, a result of inequality. The caste system and societal norms created a situation of inequalities between both these Samir. Diversity adds to our lives as we may have friends with different backgrounds, experiences, and languages. So we can also discuss why Samir though didn't attend school and consider the fairness of the situation. Okay. So here we basically got to know about what is equality and what out of it arises from, and how it leads to diversity. Okay, you probably like reading, hearing stories, adventures about different animals, people, and even ghosts. Perhaps you even enjoy making up stories yourself. Many young people feel happy when they read a good storybook because it gives them a lot of ideas to make up more stories. People who write stories get their ideas from all sorts of different places, from books and real life, and from their imagination. Some people may have lived in forests close to animals and chosen to write of their fights and friendships. Others read real accounts of kings and queens and wrote stories about love and honor. Some dipped into their own childhood memories of school and friends and wrote stories of adventures. Okay, you can see the small picture out here. Yes, so imagine if all the storytellers and writers that you have heard and read so far were forced to live in a place where all people wore the same two colors, red and white, ate the same food. You can consume potatoes also, took care of same two animals, for example the deer and the cat, and to entertain themselves played snakes and ladders. What kind of stories do you think they should write? So let's look at the small snippet. Imagine that you are a writer or an artist who lives in the place described above. That is a very, I'll say, a very monotonous place that would be, if that happens ever in your life. Either write a story or draw a picture of your life here. Do you think you would enjoy living in a place like this? Not at all. List 5 different things that you would miss the most if you lived here. Obviously the different types of colors, different type of foods we eat, the different types of colors of garments that we can wear, and different colors we can use, everything, right? So now we'll discuss about diversity in India. Diversity in India. India is a country of many diversities. We speak different languages, have various types of foods, celebrate different festivals, practice different religions. But actually, if you think about it, we do many things that are similar, except that we do them in different ways. How do we explain diversity? A little more than 200 years ago, or long before the train, aeroplane, bus, or car became a part of our lives, a little more than 200 years ago, or long before the train, aeroplane, bus, or car became a part of our lives, people traveled from one part of the world to another. in ships. So what do you got to know about this page? So people who write stories get ideas from various sources, right? It can be sources, can be anything like books, real life, and imagination. India is a country of many diversities with languages, food, festivals, and religions. However, people do these things in different ways. The concept of diversity can be explained by the way of people travel and interact with each other, right? So next, move on to our next page. This is a small box. If you want, you can have a glance through it, or otherwise you can skip it. Okay. often then Often they went in search of new lands or new places to settle in or for people to trade with, and because it is it took so long to travel, once they got to a place, people stayed there often for a long time. Many others left their homes because there were famines and droughts and they could not get enough to eat. Some went in search of work while others left because there was a war. Sometimes, as they began to make their homes in new places, people began to change a little, and at other times, they managed to do things in the old ways. So, their languages, food, music, religion become a mix of old and new. And out of this intermixing of cultures came something new and different. The history of many places shows us how many different cultural influences have helped to shape life and culture there. These regions became very diverse because of their unique histories. Similarly, diversity also comes about when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they live. For example, living near the sea is quite different from living in a mountainous area. So what we got to know about this page? In India, people greet each other, dress differently, married and pray differently. They often move to new lands, resulting in a mix of old and new cultures. This diversity is due to unique histories of regions and adaptation of people's life to their geographical area. So that's it. So let's move on to our next page. Not only do people have different clothing and eating habits, but even different kinds of work they do are different. In cities, it is often easy to forget how closely people's lives are tied to their physical surrounding. This is because in the city, people seldom grow their own vegetables and grain. Instead, they depend on market to buy all the food and other goods that they need. Let us try to understand what we mean when we say that historical and geographical factors influence diversity of a region. We can do this by reading about life in two different parts of country, that is Kerala and Ladakh. Okay, first we'll discuss about Ladakh. Ladakh is a desert in the mountain, that is a cold desert actually, mountains in the eastern part of Jammu and Kashmir. Very little agriculture is possible here since this region does not receive any rain and is covered in snow for a large part of the year. There are very few trees that can grow in the region for drinking water. People depend on the melting snow. During the summer months, people here keep sheep and goats. The goats in this region are special because they produce the pashmina wool. This wool is priced and pashmina shawls cost a lot of money. The people in Ladakh carefully collect the wool of the goats and sell this to traders from Kashmir. So pashmina shawls are chiefly woven in Kashmir. So here you can have a picture of this. This is Ladakh, the dry, barren landscape of mountainous desert of Ladakh. Okay, people eat meat and milk products like cheese and butter. Each family owns some goats, cows, and zos. Zos means they are a hybrid of yak and cows. Being a desert did not mean that Ladakh did not attract its share of traders. It was considered a good trade route as it had many passes through which caravans traveled to what is today called Tibet. These caravans carried textiles and spices, raw silk, and carpets. There is a continuation of the story. These people belongs to Ladakh. Buddhism reached Tibet via Ladakh. Ladakh is also called Little Tibet. Islam was introduced in this region more than 400 years ago, and there is a significant Muslim population here. Ladakh has a very rich oral tradition of songs and poems. Local versions of the Tibetan national epic, the Kesar Sagar, performed and sung by both Muslims and Buddhists. So then we'll discuss about Kerala, which is a coastal state. Okay, it's a state in the southwest corner of India. It is surrounded by sea on one side and hills on the other. A number of spices like pepper, cloves, and cardamoms are grown grown on the hills. It is spices that made this region an attractive place for traders. Jewish and Arab traders were the first to come here. The apostle of Christ, St. Thomas, is believed to have come here nearly 2000 years ago, and he is credited with bringing Christianity to India. Many Arab traders also came and settled down here. Ibn Battuta, who travelled here a little less than 700 years ago, wrote a travelogue in which he describes the lives of Muslims and says that they were a highly respected community. The Portuguese discovered the sea route to India from Europe when Vasco da Gama landed with his sheep here. Because of all these various historical influences, people in Kerala practice different religions such as Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. The fishing nets used here look exactly like the Chinese fishing nets and are called China wala. Even the utensil used for frying is called China chatti, and it is believed that the word Chin would have come from China. The fertile land and climate are suited to growing rice, and a majority of people here eat rice, fish, and vegetables. You can look at the Chinese fishing nets over here, and the boat race which occurs there. The boat race is an important part of the Onam festival celebrated in Kerala. While Kerala and Ladakh are different in terms of their geographical features, the history of both regions has seen similar cultural influences. Both regions were influenced by Chinese and Arab traders. It was the geography of Kerala which allowed for the cultivation of spices, and the special geographical location of Ladakh and its wool, they drew traders to these regions. Thus, history and geography are often tied in the cultural life of region. The influence of diverse cultures is not merely a thing of past. Okay, our present lives are all about moving from place to place for work, and with each move, our cultural tradition and way of life slowly become part of the new place we are in. Similarly, in our own neighborhood, we live close to people from several communities. Our daily lives are about the ways in which we do things together and hear stories about each other's lives, customs, and traditions. Now we'll discuss about unity and diversity. India's diversity has always been recognized as a source of its strength. When the British ruled India, women and men from different cultural, religious, and regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. They worked together to decide joint action, they went to jail together, and they found different ways to oppose British. Interestingly, the British thought they could divide India because they were so different and then continue to rule them. But the people showed them they could be different and yet be united in the battle against the British. This is a small song from India's People's Theatre Association. Don't forget the days of blood, O friend. In the midst of your happiness, remember to shed a tear for us. The hunter has torn away every single flower. Do plant a flower in the desert garden, dear friend. Having fallen to bullets, we slept in Jallianwala Bagh. Do light a lamp on this lonely grave, O friend. The blood of Hindus and Muslims flows together today. Do soak your robe in this river of blood, dear friend. Some rot in jails while others lie in their graves. Do shed a few tears for them, O friend. This song was sung after Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, in which a British general opened fire on a large group of unarmed peaceful people, killing many and wounding even more. Men and women, Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims, rich and poor, had gathered to protest against the British. This song was composed and sung to honor the memory of those brave people. This is one snippet of our India's independence movement. Here, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, as you can see, is delivering an Independence Day speech. Songs and symbols that emerged during the freedom struggle serve as a constant reminder of our country's rich tradition of respect for diversity. Do you know the story of Indian flag? It was used as a symbol of protest against the British by people everywhere. In his book Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru says that Indian unity is not something imposed from outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. The widest tolerance of belief and custom was practiced, and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. It was Nehru who coined the phrase unity and diversity to describe the country. India's national anthem, composed by Rabindranath Tagore, is another expression of unity in India. In what way does the national anthem describe this unity? Obviously, Our national anthem describes unity. So, from all these pages, what we got to learn is that in India, people greet each other, dress differently, married and pay differently. They often move to new lands, resulting in a mix of old and new cultures. This diversity is due to the unique histories of regions and adaptation of people's life to their geographical area, cultural and historical factors significantly influencing people's clothing, eating habits, and work. Particularly in cities like Kerala and Ladakh, where market-based necessities are crucial. Ladakh, a desert in Jammu and Kashmir, is home to sheep and goats, producing valuable pashmina wool, while Kerala is known for spices, fishing nets, and rice cultivation. Songs and symbols from India's freedom struggle represent the country's diverse tradition. Indian flag symbolized resistance against British rule. Jawaharlal Nehru highlighted India's unity based on tolerance and diversity in his book. Nehru coined the phrase unity in diversity to describe the nation. Kerala benefited from its geography for spice cultivation, attracting Chinese and Arab travelers. History and geography intertwined in shaping cultural life. People moved for work, blending traditions, diverse backgrounds. Poems commemorating massacre, calls for unity and remembrance in adversity. So that's all for today. Thank you so much, guys. So do let me know what more improvement is needed for the next chapter. Thank you so much.